What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. One of the biggest problems right now is the prices that are staying high right now, particularly prices at the grocery stores, prices at stores like Walmart, stores like CVS, Walgreens. And when people go shopping, they're just not getting as much as when they used to, particularly as when they used to, even recently, in the last 1, 2 years. And a lot of people are asking the question of when will it go back down? When will prices normalize? Will prices normalize? Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Do you think we're going to see prices normalize? Will we see prices come back down even a little bit? Yeah, and this is a big question. Or are we at a new norm? Is this the new norm? When you go to the grocery store and you fill up a cart and these prices that are just sky high, is this the new norm? Are they ever going to go back down? Let me know. Well, when you go to fill up a cart, do you think they're ever going to go back down? Yeah. So, we have this new interview here from a Walmart insider. In fact, he was the CEO of Walmart, the entire Walmart chain here, who's going to give us his insight of it. And it's interesting because he has a unique insight of the entire Walmart chain. So he has a unique point of view to be able to see that here. And it's interesting because Walmart being one of the two biggest employers of the entire country, Walmart and Amazon, particularly in this type of chain, the food chain and the goods chain. This is one of the biggest problems facing America right now. So take a listen to what he has here to say, and then we'll discuss.
Mass layoffs across the country are going beyond big tech. Hasbro, the toy maker, is cutting its workforce by 1,000 employees. Meanwhile, Bed Bath & Beyond is closing an additional 87 stores because it can no longer service its debt. And look at this, even CVS and Walmart are cutting pharmacy hours because of labor shortages. So what on earth is going on in the American workforce? For that, let's turn to former Walmart president and CEO Bill Simon. Bill, glad to have you with us this morning here on Fox and Friends. You look at these layoffs happening now across the country. What's your big takeaway about what it means for all of us in the economy at large?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy right now. We're stuck in this loop of wage inflation, product inflation, cost inflation, and it's just that cycle keeps going. And I think, unfortunately, an inevitable byproduct of some of the Fed moves and the necessary medicine we have to take to kind of cool things down and get the inflation back under control are some of these layoffs that are coming.
Well, it's interesting you lay out that point of view. I mean, one of the ways to look at this is that, as you mentioned, unemployment has to happen in order, it goes hand in hand with bringing down inflation, which goes hand in hand with rising interest rates. So when you see these companies beginning to lay off people, does that actually in some way put us further down the road to getting the economy back on track in terms of no inflation and also then maximum employment?
Well, there's theoretically, yeah, I agree with you, Will. But the problem is at the same time, there's this wage inflation that's going on. For example, last week, Walmart announced they're raising their minimum wage, their starting wage to $14 an hour. That's a 17% increase. Well, food costs have gone up 23% in the last 2 years. So now wages have gone up 17% at Walmart, 25% at Delta for pilots, 25% for the rail industry. And wage increases like that sort of counteract the employment layoffs that we're starting to see. And so there's a lot going on. And then sort of cycling back to your last story, immigration's a problem too. We need workers, but we need workers we can employ that are in the country legally. What's happening now is you're letting people in that can't participate in the workforce, but do increase demand. So you have increased demand driving prices up without the workforce to be able to service it. So it's a complicated factor that's have certain inputs that are trying to solve inflation, but you have counteracting forces that kind of
Right.
mess that up.
Sorry to interrupt there, but I was going to say, adding to that complexity is also an American workforce, in many cases, as we've told the story, who's choosing not to work. Young people not seeking employment. It's very, very complicated. Really quickly before we go, Bill, when you add all this up, the layoffs, still rising inflation, what kind of economy are we looking at here for 2023? I mean, there's a lot of conversation. Hard recession, soft recession. How does it impact us in 2023?
For me, I think the most critical thing that's going to happen in 23 is we have to get this inflation under control. Another year of high single digit, low double digit inflation, and we're gonna be in a world of hurt because inflation hurts 100% of the population. A recession might hurt 2 to 3% that have lost their job or GDP declines. We got to get inflation under control. So I'm hopeful the Fed continues their practice until we can sort of lasso that.
Well, you've been there. You've been inside the big corporation. You understand the decisions that have to be made. So we appreciate you joining us this morning and sharing that perspective. Bill Simon.
And this is kind of the cycle we're in right now, and large companies are in right now. They're laying off workers by the thousands. They're also having to pay workers more money, more hourly wages to get workers to actually come in and work for them, which is raising prices across the entire country as well, which means consumers are having to pay more money at the register. So it's a double-edged sword because people don't want to work for less. It's understandable. So it's a competitive workforce out there right now, and so they're having to pay more money for workers, which is a good thing for workers. They're also having to compete with AI. They're having to compete with, self-checkout, and they're literally losing jobs to self-checkout registers. And we're literally seeing this more and more and more. They're forcing people to self-checkout themselves. Okay, you're seeing this more and more and more, where you are being forced to be the self-checkout person. You're actually becoming the employee when you go to check out. It's kind of interesting, but you're not being paid $15 an hour to check out. Guys, let me know your thoughts on that. Yeah. So you're having to pay more money for groceries because they're having to pay higher wages, and yet they're laying off thousands of people at the same time, and people are losing their jobs because of AI, because of self-checkout, and they're replacing more jobs. They're having more automation in all sorts of warehouse and all sorts of different places where AI and computers are replacing jobs. So it's just a absolute tough thing all across the board. And prices are not really coming down that much across the board either. So honestly, this could go on for a long time. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything happening here in our country and around the world. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos that come out here on our YouTube channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day. And thank you so much for liking, and please share these videos so others can see these and help grow our YouTube channel. Click here to see what President Biden just did, and curfews are beginning around the country that you might not even know. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.